Hello, folks, and it's the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. We have Brother David Hawes back in the house. David, how are you this Saturday?
Hey Derek, I am well. And yourself?
I am a little worse for the wear. I had a really good gig last night.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
and I haven't had a bass gig in a while. I've had some other gigs where I played multiple instruments, but I played all bass last night. So my blood blisters
Oh, you
are starting
wow.
again. Remember that? How
Uh,
do you have calloused fingers still, or have they gone soft?
yeah, kind of a little bit because
Hmm.
I still dabble down here in my little studio. So yeah, yeah. But
Awesome.
yeah, you bled for your art last night.
Yeah, it
Always
was
good.
awesome. It
That's
was
good.
awesome. I really love playing live. And I forget you told me that you had were playing in a cover band. Are you still playing out and about?
No, that finished probably maybe a year or so ago.
Okay.
So no, I'm like I say, just in my little studio
Hmm. I
for
really
now.
cool. I really appreciate your t-shirt. And
Oh,
I forgot to mention it in the other one, the Ukraine shirt, but yes, disarm hate.
yes, I'm well. It says it all. That's
It says it all, and it basically says what I feel about you. You're a decent person. You're a decent human being.
thank you, Derek.
Frankly,
we
David, that
we
has a
can
lot
only
to do.
try.
I can feel that. That has a lot to do with why I'm happy to be able to talk to you and share this with other folks because of my introduction to you as a person through your music, which to me, you see, it's not about rock starness, it's about the music. In my opinion, I want to say it again on camera. You, through the band Catherine Wheel, have made to me some of the most exquisite music to come out of the period that you guys were going in the 90s. Just some fantastic music. And so I love being able to just spend a little time with you and just find out more about it because it still means a lot to me and a fair amount of other people. I have some questions for you from the audience.
Okay, okay. Well, fire away.
before before I go to their questions, I have a couple myself. Two of my favorite songs by you guys are "Salt"
Hmm,
and
interesting.
yes. Any thoughts about that? I think that song is majestic.
It's a very well. I just to go back to our first chat. I explained how I went to meet the three guys in Brian's bedroom, and they played me a demo tape. Um, and Salt was actually one of the songs on that demo tape. So it was one of the first songs that they had written pre me, and so it was yeah. It's and we I love playing it live. It's
I'll bet. I'll bet.
it
It
kind of fell
just
off the set list in the later years, but
yeah.
early on, yeah, it was always a crowd pleaser.
Yes, it soars. It soars. It takes you high. It takes you
Hmm.
high.
Yeah, yeah,
Now another of my personal favorites, I think it's an amazing song, is Strange Fruit.
right.
Any
Yes.
any thoughts about that song?
It's I mean lyrically, it's one of Rob's um more of a sexual nature, I guess.
Okay, okay,
Not that
okay.
I not that I would ever like to pick his lyrics apart. Um, but yeah, it's definitely of a sexual nature.
Hmm.
Um, and again, yeah, it's a great song. It's there's some interesting time signatures.
Exactly. It's a really
Um,
well constructed song. It's the
yeah,
music that really hits me. Honestly, it's the whole picture of the music beyond the words that's always really touched me. I mean, he's a good songwriter, but it's the music, it's that sound you guys made.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I always appreciate people when they say nice things, but yeah, with Rob's lyrics and the music, they just seem to mesh kind of naturally, which is a rare thing.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. So I remember to pull this and show this book. Do you have a copy of the book?
I do not.
This, I think, is what a testimony to what Storm thought of the band and working with you, that he would use this image. And it was cool to discover that in a way you were on the same page regarding what you wanted to see at that time.
That's correct. We had that conversation about when I met Storm for to do that album cover, and somehow we were on the same page as to what his idea of it was going to be and what I wanted as my personal picture. So,
Yeah.
but I've never seen that book before.
And there's a whole chapter about you in here.
Oh,
This is way cool.
that's a
I mean,
big book.
they've done some of the greatest art band record covers, in history.
Yeah, it's very humbling to have worked with such a genius.
No
Yeah.
doubt, no doubt. So again, on the art side, whose idea was it to the uniformity of this presentation of the set of the 12 inches?
Right.
And
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
and
I
this image I'd like to understand. I've never understood why this was chosen.
I'll be honest with you, Derek. I don't either.
Oh my
Um,
God. Well,
I do know that so with the early 12-inch singles, we were kind of looking for some uniformity, I guess, and very, black and white. We liked nothing, fancy or showy, because I think we were not fancy and showy, so it was kind of an extension of ourselves. But I would say Rob and probably Merck, our manager at the time, had a big say in the artwork. But the She's My Friend, the first single, I think that was from that was in San Francisco, I believe. Yes, yep, that was it. Right. Yep. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know who it was.
It looks like
I believe
Carrie, the movie Carrie.
Yes, I believe it's a guy. So, but it's
Okay.
from San Francisco. I'm not sure how we got hold of that image. And Black Metallic is a guy called Max Wall, who was a kind of off the wall comedian, TV personality at the time.
Yes, I remember this space. A British, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was very left of center. But
So
that's
it's
what.
really, yeah. So it's interesting that um the choices of these images were, it's like it was kind of like you kind of had a purpose. So we're doing black metallic, but we're not going to do black metallic. We're going to do something else.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we never wanted to do the obvious thing,
Yeah.
which is like just to go back to my story about John Peel, how he played our first single and then played the B-side.
Right.
I mean, that was our thing, that not to do the obvious.
Yeah. And again, just all the images are very striking.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen them all, one after the other, but yeah, I'm a sucker for black and white.
It is very expressive. And to me, it's heightened the impression, the initial impression when I see the records. It's like, like the very first time I saw one of them, it's like, what is this? And it's like, I need to hear it,
Right. And when I was a record buyer, it was the sleeve that often drew me in, and
absolutely,
that's how I think I became a big Factory Records person, because of their artwork.
They did the best. And then this image, which again, do you know anything about what's going on here?
I don't. Painful Thing. I mean, he's a boxer. Yeah. Again, I wish I had more information to pass
Well,
on.
that's more than I knew. I couldn't make out anything. It kept making me think about Jesus, but it was a boxer, eh?
It was a boxer, yeah, yeah.
Wow. I'm glad that I asked about those. I'll get to the questions in a second, but really appreciate your time, David. I do. I have a fair amount of your stuff, but can you think of something that is really rare that you guys released, or something that's would probably be hard to come by that you know of?
There is a cassette. It was on a cassette only, I believe, in France, and it was a single, and it. I'd have to go on Discogs to find it, but I know it's very rare,
I'll look
and
it up. I'll look
because
it up on Discogs.
it has a B-side which I think is only available on that cassette tape.
Wow. Okay, that's one I'll look that up. So
Yeah.
I might not have even heard that. One more from me, that way back, there was a project called the Catherine Wheel Covers Project. Did you ever hear about that?
Yes, wasn't this like a 4 CD thing
Yeah,
or?
yeah, I contributed to it. So
Oh, you did.
yeah, yeah, I
I don't think
did.
I ever heard of everything. So
Yeah, some of it's good, some of it's really bad. I did Half-Life.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
is it available? Could I
it's
hear
on
it online?
it's still archived online somewhere. I'll look it
Okay.
up and send you the link, okay?
Yes, please. Yeah,
I
I'd love that.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was real pleased to be a part of that and to participate. And that's another great song, Half-Life.
Okay. Can I give a plug out to a guy called Ryan Hamilton?
Yes, yes.
He did a version of Broken Nose, and it was fantastic. And
Wow.
um, if Ryan's watching, hey Ryan,
Cool. I don't think I've heard
he
it. He released it then, right?
he did. I on Little Stevie's underground garage,
Okay.
and I got in touch with Ryan, and he's a DJ now,
Mm-hmm.
and he has his own music career. So
Excellent.
anyway,
Excellent.
shout out to yeah. So there are some great covers out there.
Very cool. I'll be
Yeah.
sure to check that out. So to the fan questions, one I remember from back when you were first on, someone wanted to know if you had an opinion or if it meant the song title, Eat My Dust, You Insensitive Fuck. The
Right.
person was just wondering, was there any controversy about the title, or I don't know why there would be.
I mean, there was. I remember. I think we had to. I say we, the record company, had to sell in Walmart.
Mhm.
They had to take that track off. So
Wow.
we weren't happy, but it was out of our control, I guess. But
And
yeah,
that reminds me of another one. The album um where it's the guy in the bed and
Happy
there was
Days,
pardon me, Happy Days,
Happy
yes.
Days. Yep.
So in America there was two versions, and one had the extra track, but the extra track wasn't on the album. Did you even ever hear about that?
I don't think so.
Glitter, I think
Oh yeah,
Glitter.
yeah. That was on that was on the US version. Yeah.
Yes, I had to buy it twice because the first time I bought it, where it said it was on the album, it wasn't on the record. I still have both copies, but
That's
it's
how we got our record sales.
you got
We
very
got you, Dereck.
cheeky. You very cheeky there.
Ah,
Well, Taylor Swift is definitely taking you up on that. She makes multiple versions of one record.
I know, and it used to. I was a huge record collector, and the House of Love were even before we toured them. I was a huge House of Love collector, and it used to piss me off that Fontana would release like 8 different versions so you could
Yeah.
get every track, and then we find ourselves on Fontana, and they do the same with Catherine Wheel.
Did it to you, yeah. Do you still have your collection?
I've over the years I've been selling it off, to be honest.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
do. If I mean, I can see in front of me like you've got your vinyl behind you. Probably similar, but it's all scattered around.
Gotcha.
But they are. I'm dwindling away because I don't think anybody would want it. I'm
Well,
not.
you'd be surprised. I've left my collection to my great nephews. I really am not much into selling, so I'm just keeping it,
Right.
and they can have it. They can have
Yep.
it.
Well, you have a fine collection then. I think
Thank
that's.
you.
Is it in? I hope it's in alphabetical order.
Totally in alphabetical or
Good.
totally alphabetical order. It starts in the kitchen. The
Oh.
A's are in the kitchen. C through the start of D is in the living room.
Oh
This is
wow.
this is D through R over here. Over here is S,
Oh wow.
and then right on this side,
Yeah.
you see my whole
Excellent.
house. My
Yeah.
whole house is. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd.
That's great, Derek.
You know, when I was helping to raise these kids, who weren't my blood, but I basically adopted them. This was their this was their room before this all happened.
Right.
Um, they never had any interest in the records, none.
No,
But
it's
that's
great.
kids for you.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go to these questions now. Okay, I don't remember who asked what, but I'll go with the first one. Okay, so I think this was from Sean, wondering if he thinks Radiohead was influenced by Catherine Wheel, as the Bends by Radiohead came out soon after and had a similar guitar attack wall of sound theme.
Well, we may have gone through this in the last interview. So
I bet,
Radiohead
yeah,
supported
yeah,
us very early on when Creep was out for the first time,
yes.
and so we were playing pretty small clubs together, and but do I think they were influenced? I mean, we kind of started at the same time, so
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
sure we had similar influences, as in
Yeah,
Ride, How to Love, My Bloody Valentine, that type of thing. It just
yes.
seemed to be a guitar thing at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
whether consciously or subconsciously, we were all, you know, um,
You were,
influenced by each other.
yeah, swimming in the same pool. So the second part of that, the question is, you basically answered it. They were curious about if you got along with the members of Radiohead, and if
Yeah,
you could see.
yeah. For when we toured together, yeah, they were great. And I actually bumped into Colin in Heathrow Airport a few years after that, and we chit chatted as we were getting our burger or whatever we were getting.
Nice, nice.
And yeah, yeah. I mean, for the short 2 or 3 months, and then we I think we did a show in the States together, and
Mhm.
yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Very cool. Very
No
cool.
problem.
That's nice to hear. And here's another one. Did Catherine Will have any relationship with the band Suede?
Um,
They were a little bit later,
no,
weren't they?
no, but I thought Suede actually supported us one time.
Oh, wow.
They were first on the bill. There was Suede. Um, it may be. It may have even been on that radio when Radiohead supported us. On the London date, they added Suede.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But,
Okay.
but we love, especially that first album. Yep.
Yes. Yes,
Yep.
I agree. Great voice. Brett has a great voice.
Yes. Yes. And very Bowie-esque, but
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. Okay, here's another one. Who was David's favorite band of the times back when they made Chrome?
So Chrome was 1993. Actually, I remember, funny saying that, when we recorded Chrome, just before I bought Chumbawamba album, wait before Tub Thumping.
Okay.
Oh, wait before Tub Thump, because I was still, I grew up with the whole punk stuff, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Bass and Chumbawamba were part of that
Yeah.
thing.
Kind of
Uh,
anarchists, right?
Anarchist, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give the
Mhm.
Anarchist a Cigarette was one of the tracks on the album at the time.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so and Nick Cave and the Bad Seed had an album out, which I remember playing a lot at that time.
Mhm.
Uh, but we were so involved making our own music, it was difficult to listen to
No doubt,
other
no
stuff at the
doubt.
time.
Yeah, that kind of takes precedence. So that partially answers the next part of the question. It says, lastly, who makes your favorite British band list, but whom you've never seen play? Now that
Great.
kind of goes in with the fact that you were so busy playing that you weren't going out to shows. Maybe we could
Right.
go back. Maybe we could go back to when you were going to shows. And is there a band that you've always wanted to see but you never got to see?
I wish I'd seen Jesus and Mary Chain at the very start
At
when
the
their
start,
shows were
yes,
kind of
a
uh
mess.
yeah, yeah, I think it'd be 15 minutes and they were done. I wish I'd seen one of those shows.
No doubt.
I mean, I wish if I was been born a couple of years earlier, then I would have got to see a lot of the punk bands that I grew up with, but I was 2 or 3 years too young to go out to see them.
Gotcha.
A lot
Gotcha.
of the punk bands I would have loved to see. Joy Division I would have loved to have seen. I've
No
seen New Order
doubt.
a few times,
Mm, no
but
doubt.
yeah, Sisters of Mercy. I wish I'd seen them in there.
I've seen him. I saw him.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, before, and when Wayne was still in the band, it was a
Oh
memorable.
wow!
Yeah, it was a memorable show in Chicago. It was memorable.
I
Some
bet.
pardon, just right quick. I love sharing this because they used to have their stage full of fog. You could barely
Yeah.
see the band.
Right.
So at this club they're playing at in Chicago, some lady decides to try to jump on stage and get at Andrew. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was right up front, so he can't really see what's going on. So he just took the mic stand and just whacked her right off the stage. But the thing is, it was appropriate. It's like it's so dark you don't know if someone's coming to attack you or what.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah. That's great.
they were amazing. I love music. I
Yeah.
love Sisters of Mercy. Very
Yeah.
cool.
So in the late 80s, myself and a friend, we used to DJ, and it was like kind of a gothy type night, and we had the dry ice button. It was
Yeah.
on pretty much all the time. Loved it.
Keep it going, people. We don't want to see your eyes.
Yeah.
um, okay, let's see. We got a couple more here. Um, it would be very interesting to hear what it was like working with Tanya Donnelly.
Yeah. Great. She touring with Belly was very fond memories, and she would come on every night to sing Judy.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and I'm still Facebook friends with
hmm,
Tom and Chris and Tanya.
that's wonderful.
And Dale was great. She was a rocker, that girl.
Yeah, very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Um, I really appreciate you sharing these memories with us. Is this kind of fun for you, David, to kind of look back at this stuff?
It is. I mean, I don't- it's great that here we are, what, 25, 30 years after pretty much, the band were making music, and here we are still talking about it. And
Right, right.
um it is, yeah, I love this. Yeah.
Very cool. The last one I have here is, let me say, I need to kind of read it. I remember from your interview with Dave that he said Adam and Eve was distinctly built by the band as a record with no tracks you'd skip. Okay. The comment struck me as both Permit and Chrome are very solid front to back too. I would love to hear more about the process of album sequencing from David's perspective. Who in the band had strong opinions on giving album sequencing? Was was it the label? Was it the management? Was it
it's
you guys?
it's funny can I just go and get a box?
Yeah, yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on.
And I'm gonna go to the restroom. I'm gonna,
Okay.
I'm going to do a edit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here I come, here I come. Yeah, I'll probably edit this part, but yeah.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
do you have there? What do
All
you have?
right. So you're talking about how we would come up with track sequences.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this box full of cassette tapes back
Mm-hmm.
in cassette tape days,
Mm-hmm.
where so this one is Catherine Wheel LP compilation number 3.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this would have a different run in order to compilation number 2 and number 1. So
Mm-hmm.
we'd all get these cassette tapes, go away and play them, and all come back and say, well, that song goes well into this one, and we didn't like that one after that one. So it was a long, drawn out process. Probably way more thinking about it than we should. But
Those tapes are to fans, those tapes are like gold bullion.
I actually, so I had to buy. I had to buy a cassette player so I could play them, because there's a lot of true diehard fans would have a field day playing
Yes.
things
Yes.
unissued, because we would rehearse pretty much every day.
I
And
believe that. That's why you guys were so good. I mean, that makes sense. You had such a sound.
and we record pretty much every recording session and go away. And so I have tapes saying Brian's ideas and some things like that.
No doubt, no doubt. Um,
Yeah.
so this further of the question is, did the process change or become more involved as the band grew? And how many songs that were developed for a given record ended up scrapped or as B-sides?
Well, the B-side question, we always like to we thought highly of B-sides. We didn't want to just do throwaway songs. Oh, we'll put that on the B-side. And which is why I like the album Like Cats and Dogs, because it's got some great B-sides on it.
It really does. It really does.
So yeah, before we would go in to record an album, we'd always have this arsenal of songs, and so we would always obviously pick the best ones for the album, or what we thought was best that flowed together. But we always made sure that the B-sides were decent.
They're very good. One that comes to mind is some of the B-sides to Masala Tuda. I think on one of the CD singles, it explains that some of the tracks were not completely finished production-wise to the level that you had wanted, perhaps, for the album.
Okay. I'm not. I would have to see which what
Okay.
songs.
Yeah, they're out in the other room. I brought in the singles, but the
They're in
CDs
the bar. They're in the bathroom.
they're in the kitchen. They're in the kitchen. Well, I used to be a chef, but I don't cook a lot of fried food, so my records are safe in the kitchen because it's not nasty in the kitchen.
Okay.
Oh.
But just to go back to the recording process, it did seem to, as each album, obviously people became more familiar with studios and studio techniques, and I mean the first album was very much, I think, done in like 6 weeks from start to finish. Maybe even less than that, to be honest.
Wow.
But yeah, it got more involved, and like Bob Ezrin, when he did Adam and Eve, I think he was living in LA, but we recorded in London, so he would fly over, come in, take a listen, say, I got a good string part for that song, fly back to LA, and Rob would have to fly to LA to do something. So it definitely got more involved as each album went on.
Right. Now, to talk about that, Bob Ezrin, the big rock producer, working with you guys, how did that happen? Was it again? Yeah, Bob Ezrin, a big name. Peter Gabriel, Alice Cooper, everybody.
Yeah,
No.
Lou Reed. Yep. Yeah, I don't know how he got involved. He wasn't there every day by any means.
Mhm.
Garth Richardson was around. Uh, Tim.
Tim Priest Green.
Yes, Tim Reed. Yep. And Bob he was like executive producer,
Okay, okay.
but he was, yeah, we met him in LA before we recorded, and he was a big fan of the band. And
Mhm.
I'm sure Merck, our manager, had obviously
Okay,
eyes. Um,
okay.
but yeah, Bob, he was an interesting guy, Bob.
Now here's something interesting I want to share personally. It just popped in my head because when I noticed that you guys started to use organ in some of the songs,
Hmm.
at first I didn't think I liked it. It took me a while. And I just wonder, was that were keyboards something that evolved in the band's idea of the music, or did you
Yeah,
want that at the beginning?
yes, it did. And Tim being a keyboard player himself, so he would. I mean, he played keyboard on pretty much all of this. Any keyboard parts Tim played, I believe.
Hmm.
But and then we eventually did get a keyboard player to play,
Right.
like Pete Whitaker, the
Yes.
guy Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed a natural um, stepping stone of the process to
Yes, and I had to kind of catch up to it because I was really addicted to the guitars, and I at first I thought the guitars were kind of intruding. Honestly, as a listener, I said,
Mhm.
"What's that keyboard doing in there?" And
Right.
then, and then I got it after a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That texture.
right. It did add another layer. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
and Phantom of the American Mother, which is one of my
Oh God, what a song!
yeah, and the keyboard to me, the keyboard
Yes.
makes that.
Now
Yeah,
that's an epic song,
it is. It
and
is.
it's
I,
so.
I feel like it. We didn't. It came too late because I
Mhm.
think it would have been a great.
Massive
Would have loved
song.
it. It didn't get the attention it deserved.
In many ways, to me, that song is like a blueprint for what Radiohead did on OK Computer.
Right. Right.
Now, so in hindsight, do you feel like the label maybe didn't promote you guys well enough or properly for stuff like that to happen?
I mean, it's easy to blame, something, somebody. I think things happen for a reason, or they don't happen for a reason,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it, I'm not would never say, "Oh, Mercury Fontana should have done this, should have done
Hmm.
that,"
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
like I say, things happen for a reason, or they don't.
Yes. Well, that's a wise position to have rather than to be bitter
Mhm.
and blame.
Right. Yeah. No, there's. I mean, it would have been nice to have that one, breakout hit, but
Yeah.
then in hindsight, mate, it wasn't meant to be, and here
Yeah.
we
Well, the music stands the test of time regardless.
right.
Very cool. Um, thanks again, David. And as a true fan, I never give up the idea that maybe there will be something that causes you folks to play again together in a public way. I still.
I wish it would happen, Derek. I would love to do one more tour. I'm not really interested in making another album, but to
Mhm.
do playing live was always my favorite aspect.
Ah,
So doing one more tour would be great, but
oh God, I'd love it.
um, you
A
know,
lot of people would love it. So I'll just keep my fingers crossed that somehow, some day that it just happens. Maybe
keep the
it'll
faith,
happen.
right?
Yeah, I'm
Keep
definitely
the faith.
keeping the faith. So in other parts of your life, you're a hardworking U.S. Um, citizen now, or you live here now, and
I live here. I became a U.S. citizen 4 years ago. Yes.
Congratulations. I saw the picture on Facebook here of you and your wife on the 4th. You
Yeah.
look like a happy couple. You
Yeah.
look like
Yes, we are. She's upstairs, giving me time to do this before I have to go and do my chores.
she'll
Not,
put your
it's not all rock and roll, Derek, I tell you.
well, no doubt. It's like when you got to get, she'll make sure to put your ass to work when it's
Oh
time.
God, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
But no, we life is good in the in little Ohio, Ashtabula, Ohio. Life is good.
I really appreciate this time you share with us. I'm going to kind of wrap it up, but again, I want to just emphasize through my perspective on behalf of many other listeners that because I've met some big name rock stars and mm, uh, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I can go even bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
But and what I'm trying to say is I've met people who are caught up in that headspace of I am a rock star.
Oh yeah.
And
Right.
that's not what this has ever been about
No.
for me, which is why it's so wonderful to make the connection to you as another musician who has made this music that to me is downright, and other people have said it in the comments, it's downright magical. And it's the soundtrack for our lives. It's special, and it's such it has that essence rare, as Gang of Four used to say. You
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
guys had that essence rare. Seriously.
And there's something I want to say to you, Derek, which I remember seeing on Facebook, somebody said to you, oh, it must be great to interview your heroes. And you said, I have no heroes. And I think that's great because there are no, well, in the music industry, you know, I think you asked me, did I meet any of my heroes? And I said some of that I did meet Lou Reed, but
Yes, yes.
in hindsight, you know, they aren't heroes.
Right,
They
right.
make great music.
Yes,
I love them, but
yes. They touch our lives. We touch each
yes,
other's lives.
yes, but heroes, to put them on a hero status is not right. And
No, no.
so
And
I just wanted to let you know, I saw that comment. It struck home.
excellent, because for me it's like it's this is wonderful to be your peer. I mean, as well as a fan, we're fellow musicians, we're fellow music makers,
Right.
and that has a lot of value to me. And I have had the experience where I met someone who I sort of idolized as a kid, and they got knocked off their pedestal right quick, you know what I'm saying? Really
Mm-hmm.
full of themselves. And so, like you say, hero worship is, who needs it? Who needs it?
Right. And you know, I used to buy all the music papers back in the day, you know, Sound Enemy and Melody Maker, and you know, and then, you know, growing up in the punk days with the punk ethos, you know, just because you can play a guitar, what gives you the right to pontificate about
Right, right,
whatever? You know.
right, exactly. We won't bring up any examples,
Bono.
but I was thinking of Roger Waters. But going back to punk, a high memory for me back playing in the punk days was opening for the Dead Kennedys back in the 80s.
Nice.
And it was a show when my band RAF, we were really on fire. And after we got done, it was great because Jello came up and said, well, thanks a lot. What are we supposed to do after that?
Oh,
You know,
high
but it's
compliment.
like you say, there's no heroes. We're all in this
Yep.
together.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful to share that night and help them to have an even more intense night because they
Mm-hmm.
had, you know, it's like you got your work cut out for you guys, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I'd seen them back in the day.
Geez. So mention if you can remember a couple of memorable shows who you saw back in the day.
So probably my right, but so the first ever gig I went to was the Specials, and there was another band on Two Tone, the Body Snatchers.
Yes, yes.
Them,
Mhm.
and then first on was the Go-Go's. So this was 1980, I believe,
Yeah.
and the Go-Go's unfortunately got bottled off
Oh,
like four
wow.
songs,
Wow.
and this when bottles were bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad because I actually I had bought We Got the Beat the
Yeah.
first time it came out. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, it's
Yeah.
on, and I love the specials and the whole two-tone thing. So
Absolutely.
that was my first ever gig and very memorable. And then seeing the Damned supported by the Anti-Nowhere League
Oh, wow.
was fantastic.
That had to be crazy.
Yeah, and that was 1982, and we went to see the Damned in Cleveland maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and got to meet Captain Sensible and Dave Vanian, and so
Yeah.
the time I saw you was 1982, supported by the Anti-Nowhere League, and they both went, "Oh God."
But that's so cool because Rat Scabies was on the drums then still, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
because
Yeah,
I
it
saw
set
them
his
years.
guns on fire. It was
Yeah, I saw them years later. He wasn't with them, so I didn't get to
right,
experience him. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I saw the Stone Roses before, just as their first album was out. So they played at Norwich Art Center, which is a small
Hmm.
place. That they were great. House
Yeah.
Love early on. I mean, I
Bauhaus, Bauhaus.
never saw Bauhaus. No,
Me neither. Me neither.
again, being 2 or 3 years too young and living in a kind of a sleepy seaside town.
Yeah,
There wasn't
yeah,
many bands coming that way.
yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome, awesome. David, it's just really a pleasure
All right,
to
Derek.
spend time with you. You actually feel like a friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, one of these days, who knows?
Yeah, we may actually meet. Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually meet. I was just talking to Mick Conroy of Modern English.
Mhm.
We
Okay.
we've become pretty friendly, and he's invited me out to Denver to come see him when he plays with Mickey Berenier of Lush because they're doing that.
Okay.
I just might do that, just might
Yeah.
do
Are
that.
you're welcome to come to Ashtabula, and you can actually show me how some of this studio stuff works.
Well, that's funny that you mentioned that because I actually when I'm done with this, I have a session with Hank Red, who was with Stevie Wonder for years,
Oh,
to help him with his home studio.
okay.
Yeah, with the idea that he's going to eventually play on one of my tracks. We haven't gotten that done yet, but that's a whole nother experience getting to know him and his background.
Hmm. Hmm.
Geez,
Wow.
I mean,
That's
he's been around everyone from Miles Davis, Aretha Franklin, you name it, he played with them
Yep.
all.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so
That's great. Wow.
it's wonderful for me to be a part of this music community beyond being a fan, being a music maker, and connecting with people like you who over the years have just enriched me so much. So thank you again, David. Thanks so much.
Any, Thank you, Derek. Anytime.
I'll
Anytime.
probably I may bother you again,
Hey,
okay?
anything to get me out of household chores.
I can hear it just now. David, get
Right.
there.
Hanging on the roof of the get up here.
Take care and have a great weekend, David.
All right, Derek, and yourself.
See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.